County. Blake, of course, now in. And
Yes.
Blake, let's get started. The Soil and Water Conservation District Office.
Yeah. So basically, I think we may have talked about this before, but the director election, we actually are accepting nominations now. So if people are interested in becoming a director, they can. Just come into the office or send us an email, and we'll get you some paperwork. So then you basically just put your name on a slip saying that you have land or live in Whiteside County, and then you can basically sign up to be put on the ballot to be elected.
How many directors are there?
There are usually always five. We're usually required to have five. And then they usually serve for a 2-year term. Okay. And this year it'll be 3 directors that are up for election. Last year it was 2, and it just kind of goes on and off, 3 and 2, 3 and 2. But so for that, we'll have 3 directors up for election for a 2-year term. So if you're interested, come and see us.
When is the election day?
That'll be, I'm pretty sure it's set for February 4th.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, we still haven't really confirmed that with the Department of Agriculture yet, but we're in the process of getting that all signed off on.
So sometime in February then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then we also have a banquet that'll be coming up. We're just getting stuff together for that. That'll be February 7th, so same week. But yeah, that'll be a busy week, and we haven't given out like tickets or anything yet, but they're going to be we're guessing $25 each for tickets. But we'll have a bunch of stuff going on. We'll have a silent auction, a live auction as well, and then we'll have speaker Jay Wolf. Have you ever heard of Jay Wolf before? No. He's a wildlife photographer, and he has some great photos. And there'll be at our venue, we'll have a big screen where he'll show off some of like his photos and all that, and he'll do a nice talk about what he does. But yeah, and then we'll have dinner as well. And yeah, I mean, that's mostly what's going on with the banquet. But yeah, we also have newsletter ads. So if anybody wants to get on our newsletter, we have ads you can purchase in there. We do them every winter and summer. So if people want to get a little shout out for their business or something, they can do so doing that. And also, a lot of people have been waiting for this, our cover crop cost share. I know people have been getting excited about that, but we finally have it out. We did get the money right before shutdown, which was unfortunate, so we couldn't really do anything. But yeah, we have it now. We have the applications ready, so if you're wanting to get, we already have some applications in, so I mean, the sooner the better. But there still is a good amount of money left for people to come get some reimbursement for their cover crops.
Again, visiting with Blake from Whiteside County Soil and Water Conservation. So the South Pole, why are we talking about the South Pole, Blake?
Well, it's just something interesting considering all the winter weather that we have, I guess, right now. But like compared to our area, I mean, you also have to think about life at the poles where during this winter solstice, December 21st, they actually have 24 hours of sunlight down at the South Pole, which is interesting to think of. And it's like during a 6-month period, so you're just in constant sunlight the entire time down there. Compared to us, that's like insane. So they just have constant warm sun beating down on them.
Can't be that warm.
Yeah, no, it's not. But it's interesting having nothing but light. But yeah, and it's also interesting because the North Pole also has 24 hours of darkness. So yeah, that's always fun to think about. But with the snow and everything down in like the South Pole, it reflects sunlight, so that also helps keep it cool. Which snow acts as like an insulator, which we'll get to later too. But yeah, it's warming up, but it's not really at all considering all the snow and keeping it cool and insulated. So yeah, it's a real fun time down in the South and North Pole.
Well, a little more interesting and maybe not as much fun, the chronic wasting disease.
Yeah, no, Dave has mentioned this multiple times before. I've heard him talk about it. Yeah, the chronic wasting disease, if you're a deer hunter, you probably have heard of this. But, if you aren't like a deer hunter or anything like that, it is a disease where they typically call it like the zombie disease or walking zombie disease. And it's basically makes a deer look like a zombie. They have their heads down, their tails are down. They basically just look real droopy and sick in a way. But I mean, there is no, that doesn't definitely mean that they have this, but I mean, it's a symptom. But also, if you're going to eat deer, there's no known effect, known evidence to show that it affects humans. So, I mean, but even if you are eating deer, it's always nice to be careful and look out for that. Um, but you know, I mean, the more susceptible parts are like the it's not like legs or like the main body parts. It's more near the spine, more near the head, the brain, the throat area. So if you're eating anywhere around those parts, which most people aren't, but I mean, if you're more apt to eat those areas, then you got to be a little more careful.
Oak appreciation up next.
Yeah, oak appreciation. A lot of people don't really think about oaks that much. I mean, we have a lot of species in Illinois and Iowa, especially 21 species in Illinois, but they are a huge role in lots of different areas. And they provide, like acorns to squirrels, birds, lots of different animals, so then they can survive for the winter. And blue jays are a big part of this because they do a lot of distributing of acorns, so then that actually helps spread out the oaks. So it's kind of a mutualistic kind of relationship between blue jays and oaks. But yeah, giving some more time, like oaks usually lose their leaves a little early in the winter and usually a little later than most tree species. So they land like on top of the snow, and it's easier for insects to go into like hibernation and overwinter. So that because they'll latch onto that leaf before it falls under all the snow and all that. I mean, which most insects usually do beforehand. So then they have an insulating layer of snow, but it's easier because they get to stay on the tree longer, and they get to stay away from birds and animals trying to peck at them. So it keeps them a little safer when they're in the tree.
Yeah, 21 species in Illinois of oak trees.
Yeah.
Name a couple for me.
Yeah, no, there's like pin oaks, red oaks, bur oaks, swamp white oak. That's always a big one around like wetland areas because they're pretty immune to wet soils.
Well, there's 20. You don't have to name all 21.
Yeah, no, I thought I was going to try and name a couple more, but yeah, no, it's not coming off the top of my head. But yeah, there's a lot.
The next item up, maybe I'm not pronouncing this correctly, nutria. Is that right?
Nutria,
okay,
yeah.
Nutria invasion. What is that?
Yeah, nutria. This was actually brought up at our during a conversation at another radio station, and someone asked about an airport that may have been invaded by nutria, which nutria are basically in between a beaver and a muskrat. They're like the size in between there. And they basically aren't native to here. They're native to South America. So they've kind of weaseled their way up here, or, people may have brought them up for the fur trade or something like that, because I know way back when the beavers had a huge fur trade back then too. But yeah, they don't hibernate. They have really, really orange teeth. If you look up pictures of them, they are definitely known to have really orange stained teeth. And muskrat-like tail. They're not like a big paddle like a beaver, but they are the size in between a beaver and a muskrat. But
I have never heard of a nutria.
Yeah, no, I never actually did until I went to college, and they had a fur of it, and it's like the neck's a little longer, but it just feels and looks exactly like a beaver or like a muskrat.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of it before either, but yeah, they like to burrow underground. So with the riverbanks, dikes, and roads, they can lead to a bunch of damage. And in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, they caused a problem with the airport because they were walking across the airport runway. So then they had a huge kind of wildlife problem with them on that because they had to shut down the airport. They weren't allowed to get airplanes in or out from that. But they aren't really under any wildlife code, so then there is no limit on them like beaver or otters. So during that trapping season, there is no limit. You can get as many of them as you can. And if you'd like to help if you need help removing them or outside that trapping season, then you can contact the DNR.
Have you seen one in the area?
No, I have not. It's actually usually, they're all kind of south, but there's been very, very few sightings up in northern Illinois.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, they're mostly all south. They're just kind of slowly making their way up.
Crazy. So more winter snow. We've been getting our share so far this winter.
Yeah, no, and I can't see it stopping yet. So I imagine there's going to be more since, there's La Nina, which basically has this huge shift in the Pacific Ocean where there's all this warm water near like Asia, stuff like that. And then all the colder water is more in the center and along the western coast of America. And then, I mean, during La Nina, that's what we're in now, but El Nino is the opposite. It's all warmer water across the top. But right now, with all that colder water, it's bringing in colder winds across America. And then in the Atlantic, it's kind of evaporating. So you're bringing in colder weather from the Pacific, and then those warm, moist air is cooling it. And then basically in the Midwest, we're getting a mix of the two, getting colder weather and more snow, precipitation. We're getting all that. And especially the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, they had predicted that there's going to be, more precipitation, more colder temps through December and February.
Well, it is in the forecast for today.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, it might be freezing rain, which I'm not a big fan
Ooh,
of.
yeah.
I don't like that.
No, hide your cars.
Yes, there you go. So talk about how snow can provide insulation.
Yeah, it can provide a good amount of insulation because, you have, most people don't think of like even air as an insulator. You have this thick layer of white snow, which, as we know, white kind of repels light more, and it's better and it doesn't suck in as much light, so it's reflecting off that. Plus, you have this really thick layer of essentially air and partially water, which is creating this kind of thick kind of insulation types. So, like if you're in your house, you have this thick layer of fabric, but it's also air as well, which is providing this big blanket of snow. And it can differ up to 42 degrees if you have like around 9 inches. I mean, it can differ in different areas too. I mean, depending on what's above, what's below. I mean,
That's interesting.
No, it can be a big difference, and especially for, small mammals scurrying around underneath.
So we'll have you back in again on Tuesday, January 13th. If people would like to find out more information about the Whiteside County Soil and Water Conservation, how can they best do that, Blake?
Yeah, you can visit our website. I mean, it's been pretty updated. It'll be whitesidecounty.swcd.com. You can go there. That includes all our information. Otherwise, you can email Whiteside County SWCD at hotmail.com or call us at 815-772-2124 extension 3.
Blake, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Nelson Corp Wealth Management hosts Financial Focus every Wednesday at 9:05 a.m. on KROS. We'll bring you